And finally, I will go live on Instagram. Great. We should be live everywhere. I'm just going to wait a couple of seconds while people join on Instagram as well. And then we can get started with another live. So I think we can get started. I'm super excited to finally do a live again, as I've been away from lives on Instagram and so on for quite some time. So I'm super happy to be back. I hope you're all doing fine. Here in London, we are on lockdown number 2, which is going to end in just 10 days. So we're super excited. Today, during the live, I would like to tell you a bit more about some big news coming up on our 2 campaigns going on at the moment. One is our democracy campaign, and the second one is Green December. So the team has been super busy with a lot of things coming up in the next couple of weeks. And we've been working with our volunteers everywhere around the world. And we're super excited for December to come and make a beautiful month out of it. I see Colombe that join. Hi, Colombe. As usual, feel free to ask any questions you might have. I am all ears and I want to learn as much as possible from you. So feel free to ask any question you might have. And I think I should be back on Instagram. I'm having issues with Instagram, so I hope if you guys can tell me on Instagram if you could hear me and it's working fine, that would be fantastic. But to start with, I would like to tell you all about Green December, which I'm super excited about. Green December, as you can imagine from the name, is something that is going to happen in December, so just 6 days away. What we're doing with Green December is all to do with our global climate emergency campaign. So as you may know, this in January this year, we launched a campaign focused on declaring a global climate emergency. And what we want to do through this campaign is not only to raise awareness about this huge issue that we have, and which is the biggest threat to our life at the moment, which is the climate crisis, but also we wanted the United Nations Security Council to declare a global climate emergency. So throughout the year, we've been engaging in talks with different governments who hold the presidency of the UN Security Council, and we want to make sure that we end this first year as big as possible. And for this, we need the help of each and every one of you who is watching and everyone else that you know. So what we're doing is in December, we will launch 31 coordinated individual actions that everyone can take. So if you're in Taiwan, you can do it. If you're in Mexico, you can do it. If you're in Uganda, you can do it. If you're in Italy, you can do it. You can do it from everywhere around the world. The idea with these actions is that you will tackle throughout the month of December different aspects of the climate crisis. So some of the action might have to do with your carbon footprint. Some actions might have to do with the way that the fashion industry is impacting climate change. Some actions might have to do with the way that we produce waste. And the idea is really for each and every one of us to have a positive impact on climate change. And the reason why we really wanted to work on this month is because I'm sure you all know it hasn't been a fantastic year for everyone around the world. We've been hit by a pandemic, and we wanted people from everywhere around the world to be able to know that they can have an impact, a meaningful impact to solve the climate crisis. And whilst we still want to push governments to act. We think that every little step counts towards something bigger. And so from wherever you are around the world, you can join in and you can make sure that your voice is heard, your action have a positive impact on the climate, and that you work together with us towards a better future. And the way that we've been working on is with an amazing team of volunteers. We have volunteers from all over the world that have been helping us out for the past 2 months now. And you're still in time to join us, because the more brains we have, the better it is. And the idea is that all these different teams work on different work streams. So all the fantastic comments or the fantastic content that you've seen on our social media, it is all done by volunteers. So you can tell that the way our social media production has gone up just because volunteers got involved. And so there is a team that is working on the content. There is one team that is working with distributing everything that we're working on in as many channels as possible, so that people that might not follow now will know about Green December and might want to join what we're doing. And then there is a team who's working on so many partnerships for the month of December to make sure that not only you do actions that are good for the planet, but you also enjoy it and then you love it and you take part onto something bigger and you can see the impact around the world. So if you're interested in this, in Green December, and you have some spare time, you should definitely contact me. Colombe, I know that Colombe has been posting the link to Green December, and you should definitely join us, because the more brain we have, the better it is. I see Colombe. She asked if I can tell you about one action of Green December. I can tell you, I won't tell you one action because I want that to be a secret. But what I will tell you is we have actions that will push you to not do something in your life. So it might be that one day you will have to walk rather than using your car. Or it might be that one day you will have to say no to something that you really like to eat. But it's really different aspects. I don't want to give away too much because, I really want everyone to sign up and get the surprise, because the whole idea of it is, if you think about an advent calendar, when you open it, and I'm going to use chocolates because I love advent calendars that have chocolates. So when you open the advent calendar and you don't know what kind of chocolate you're going to see, you're super surprised and you can't wait for the next day. And so we really want that feeling to guide you throughout December and to really want to engage with every single action every day. But what I can tell you is that some days you will be asked to do something. Some days you will be asked to refrain to do something. And all the different actions, you will be able to see that they will have different impacts on several aspects of climate change. And the whole idea is that, again, we really know that governments have the biggest say, and we really still want to push governments to act, and some action will be focused on that. But we also think that every step really counts in making December a better month, not only for a very awful year, but for a better future. Andrea never gets mentioned. Andrea is really needy nowadays, but let's see if Andrea said something interesting. Andrea, you can ask a question and maybe you will get mentioned. But again, what I would urge you to do is to think about December not only as not only as the end of a very bad year, but as a time where you can take a positive action for the climate. And the reason is because I don't want to be negative, but unfortunately, we don't have a huge amount of time left to stop the climate crisis. And I think that for a long time, governments have been talking about the consequences of climate change and how awful climate change has been, which is all true. But I think that now we kind of have to step up our game and stop talking about just the consequences, but start acting to ensure that, it's not just we don't have only 7 years left to live properly in this planet, but we have much longer. And I think that the beautiful thing that you will see, and we have a lot of live Q&As coming up with our volunteers and influencers, you'll see that each person can really have a positive impact, not only on December, but on our planet. And I think that this is the most important message, that people across borders, people that might not know the consequences of climate change in another country, are ready to take action and ensure that we unite across borders to solve this global topic. And if we do, then global leaders will have no excuse, nowhere to hide and say, oh, it's not, we can't solve this from a global perspective. Like, I'm only going to think about myself. We have the opportunity to show a better way to solve this crisis. And I encourage all of you to take action. If it's, I love to see you all take action for 31 days. But if you want to do a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, do as much as you can. Just start taking action, because it really is now or never. And, you can be the positive, you can spark some climate hope and make it better. Let me see what Claudia says. Will I send green chocolate for free in December? Did you get it? I will not send chocolate, but I think that the actions that you will do will be as sweet as chocolate, and you will really, I think, honestly, because we've been building the calendar for the months of action, I think that the feeling that I have, and I hope that everyone will have every day when they will see the new action, will be the same of like happiness and surprise that they do when you open an advent calendar, if you have an advent calendar, or you receive a beautiful surprise. Because not only I think that the actions are great, but I think that also the volunteers have been working so hard to ensure that everyone across the world can do it, that are as inclusive as possible, that if you are in Jakarta, or if you are in Buenos Aires or in Seattle, you can do it. You can take it, and we can all do it together. So I see. Yes, exactly. As Andrea says, it's the hope that we need for this year. And I think if you have seen the work that we've been doing on this campaign, you'll see that we really want to ensure that people unite behind this topic, and you can really, you can be a part of it. I see someone asking me, what if you're in Olbia? If you're in Olbia, you can definitely take action. And what I would encourage you to do is to get one friend to do it with you. Because I think it's always, even though we are in COVID times, so of course, don't do things that you can't do because of restrictions. But if you can get another person involved, it will be so much more fun, so much more entertaining. And it's also something good to tell people to do, because it's really small actions. We don't ask you, to go to the moon and back. We ask small things that everyone can do. And I think that if your friends don't know about this, I encourage you to share as much as possible, because it's really small things that everyone can do. And I think that if they know about it, they will want to do. So even if you're in Olbia, you can do it. Everyone can do it. So I strongly encourage you to do it. I want to see if on Facebook we have more question, or on Instagram. I can't manage a lot of tools all together, but bear with me. I think all the questions are done. So my call to action for this specific thing, for this specific topic, Green December, is one, sign up. Wherever you are, you can easily go on our website. Colombe has shared the link. If you're on Instagram, you can find it also in our link in bio. go click there. You will be directed to an amazing page all about Green December with a fantastic countdown that it will tell you that in 6 days we will start Green December. So go there, sign up, and you will receive updates on when we're going to launch Green December. You will be able to see a new page with different actions that you will not be able to click on until the very first day, so that every day will be a surprise. And if you're still interested, there is still time to volunteer. We want a lot of brains. We want to see a lot of people involved. And we want to make sure that if you have a super creative, super cool idea, we know about it and we can work with you on it. So I hope that answered all the question of Green December. If I haven't made it clear, I'm super excited about it. I know that our volunteers are also huge. They've worked so much on it and they're super excited about it. You'll see more about it. You'll see more regarding Green December in the next few days. But you'll also be able to see a lot of live Q&As and a lot of events happening. And so make sure to follow us. Make sure to check out what's happening so that you can get all the updates on this fantastic month coming up. Now, what I would like to talk about is our second campaign, our Wave of Freedom campaign. So for those of you who may not have heard of it, we have launched a campaign with the aim of creating a League of Democracy. So countries around the world, big democracies around the world, can come together to protect and innovate democracies around the world. So the campaign was launched in July when China created a national security law, which basically meant that any person who was speaking not nicely about China and people in the streets that were protesting against China could get arrested and would be trialed in mainland China. So back in July, we really felt a need for people to start mobilizing around it. We had been in touch with people from Hong Kong. We've seen the need to really not only raise awareness on this topic, but start acting on it. And unfortunately, as months progressed, we've also saw a big decline around democracies around the world. So we saw the protest in Belarus, we saw the protest in Venezuela, and we really understood that struggles for democracies are happening everywhere around the world. And that's the reason why we launched our Wave of Freedom campaign. Together with the Wave of Freedom campaign, we've been able to mobilize thousands and thousands of people around the world through our Fridays for Freedom protests. So as you may understand from the name, these are protests that have been happening every single Friday for the past 5 months. Andrea Colomb and two of our members from the Brussels team, Anita and Mirta, were the first one to started the Fridays for Freedom protests back in July in Brussels. They went in front of the Chinese embassy and they hold place cards. They were doing chants to demand a free Hong Kong and democracies to unite around the world. And from Brussels, we've been able to expand everywhere around the world. There are people from Brisbane to Seattle to Toronto, Rome, Hong Kong, Tokyo, all taking actions, all participating in Fridays for Freedom protests. And if you can't participate because you can't go out, you can still be a part of it. In fact, we've seen thousands of people joining from their living rooms, from places where they feel safe, but also what we've been doing is that we've moved our protests to ensure that it could cover all the struggles of democracies happening around the world, from the Chinese embassy to government buildings. So in London, we've been protesting in front of 10 Downing Street to demand that the UK Prime Minister hears our requests, and here's our about our campaign. And so everywhere around the world, people are gathering wherever they can to raise awareness on the different struggles of democracy, from Hong Kong to the Uyghurs to Taiwan to Tibet, Venezuela, Belarus. I'm just mentioning a few, but we've seen that during this year, because of the pandemic, we've also been really we've seen a huge decline of human rights and a huge crackdown on rights and freedoms around the world. And so we needed to act. And so with people around the world, we've been protesting. Now, in a lot of countries, because of the lockdown or the COVID regulations, we can't hit the streets anymore. But we thought of a new innovative way where people can still show their support, and they can still show the fact that we want to raise awareness on this issue. And we've been starting in London with our freedom ribbons. So those are orange ribbons, orange not only as now the color of now, but also orange as a flame of freedom that won't be stopped. It won't be stopped because of lockdown. It won't be stopped for COVID regulation. We will continue to carry out this freedom, this flame of freedom, whether we're in England or anywhere else around the world. If you can't protest and if you can't go outside in big groups, you can still tie a ribbon in front of the place where you would be protesting, so in front of government buildings, to show that we will not stop. Because of COVID, we might have to be home, but we still want to raise awareness on this topic, and we still want to push forward our campaign. So if you're interested in this, you can check out our website that Colombe has posted on our social media and can get involved. We want protests to happen everywhere around the world. We want actions to happen everywhere around the world. And from today, we will really focus on building local teams around those protesters that have been actively organizing protests or actions for the last 5 months. So if you want to participate in this, I urge you to do it. And I urge you to do it not because it's a big issue, but because it might seem like a topic that doesn't concern a lot of us. But unfortunately, and it's really upsetting to say, no countries has achieved a perfect level of democracy. Each country still has to deal with a lot of problems. Most countries still don't include a lot of groups in society in their democracy. And so if you think that, oh, it's happening in Hong Kong or it's happening far away, it actually isn't. It's probably happening in your country as well. And so I urge you to take action. And again, if you can go on our website, you will see a list of places where protests or actions have been taking place. And if you live in a city where no action has been yet taken, please let us know, because we would love to work with you to start raising awareness on this topic and pushing the campaign forward in your country as well. And so you can easily go on our website and you will receive an email with the next step from me on what you can do. And we have teams of people from all over the world that are really working on this campaign, because we want to work on protest, but we really want to expand the campaign, not only to other cities where we're not present, but also to really start engaging with politicians and starting the conversation on the importance and the need to create a League of Democracies. And what has been really great to see is people that started joining us for to raise awareness on what was happening in Hong Kong are now really inspired and want to talk about other democracy struggles. A few weeks ago in London, we had protesters coming from NSAR's protest in London, and they joined us and they raised awareness about another huge, important democratic struggle. And so we've been seeing all these protests really coming together and talking more about what is unfortunately common across the world on the democratic struggles, but also things that we can highlight more, we can talk about more. And so by doing this Fridays for Freedom protest, we've really started to engaging with a lot of different struggles. And again, if you're in a country where we are not present yet, or in a city where we haven't held protests, do let us know, because it could be as simple as just taking a picture in front of a government building, and then we can start building a bigger protest around you. And if you can't take action and you can't hold protests because of COVID, that's okay. We have very creative ideas on how to push this campaign forward, even though COVID is happening. And so my call to action for this is get active, get involved. Democracy is a topic that unfortunately is often not thought about, because you don't think about it when you have it. You start thinking about it when it's taken away from you. And unfortunately, during this year, due to the pandemic, a lot of leaders have started using this excuse to crack down on rights and freedoms in many countries. So a lot of people have now started to realize why we need to stand behind this issue, why we need to support people that have been hitting the streets for months and years to demand more rights, more freedom, a better democracy. And so you can join us from wherever you are. Just get involved, get active, because it's an important issue and we need to come to a solution. I will check if there are more questions. A lot of people on Facebook thanking us for standing for democracy, and we actually have to thank all of you that are joining us from all over the world every Friday. We see your pictures, we see your messages, and it's just really, really great to see a lot of you joining. I see a question: how did you got involved with Hong Kong? So we, as I mentioned at the beginning, we launched this campaign back in July because China passed a national security law. And so we really saw a point throughout the year where something more had to be done on this topic. From the very beginning, a Hong Kong activist, Joshua Wong, has been very supportive about what we're doing at now. And from the very beginning, our co-founders, Andrea and Colom, had been in contact with him, understanding the issue, that the big struggle that was happening in there. And so in July, after having had a digital town hall with Joshua, and after understanding the gravity of the situation, we decided that although it seemed a faraway issue, we had to act. We had to help in any way we could. And a lot of us, I see that someone is asking if anyone has any personal experience in Hong Kong. None of us from the Now Central team has ever been to Hong Kong, I believe. But I think that didn't stop us from wanting to act, because we understood the gravity of the situation. We understood the fact that we had to act. We had to support people in any way we could. And at the beginning, through the Fridays for Freedom protest, we could really give a platform to all those freedom fighters that couldn't raise their voice in their home countries because of awful laws. And so we gave a platform. And then we realized that, as I said, this year has just been awful for democracies around the world. And we realized that this is a much bigger issue. And so we started to also expanding the campaign and inviting people and pushing forward our aim of our Wave of Freedom campaign through the protests. So we don't have any personal experience, but that didn't stop us. From wanting to act, because I think that, again, we saw the gravity of the situation, and we understood that something had to be done. I don't know if there are any more questions. Otherwise, I spoke a huge amount. I saw that someone asked about the global security law that passed today in France, and Colombe gave a very strong response. So I'm not going to touch on that. But yes, so I hope that you learned more about the big news that are coming up in December. My two final requests is visit our website, get involved in any way you can, whether it's just signing a petition for the Wave of Freedom, or whether it's signing up for Green December and start taking action. Anything that you can do is a step towards a better future, and this is something that we really want everyone to do. Start taking action now, because every single input that you can do is something positive. So thank you so much for watching me, and as always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop us a message or an email, and we'll be more than happy to answer them. But thank you for watching me. Bye bye.